Hello guys, I welcome you back to my channel. The other day I made a post on TikTok and I asked wives to advise the single ladies, and I told them that any advice they want they can give to the single ladies. And today we are going to take some of the advices from the comment section of that video and we are going to discuss it, because I really realized that there were good advices there that I wanted to share with you. So let's get right into it. The first advice I want to talk about is that respect your in-laws, but remember they are not your friends and will never be. Don't do anything in the name of I want a favor from them, but again, give them the maximum respect. I think I agree with this one, because your in-laws are your in-laws. Yes, in the law, they are your parents now, because your mother-in-law just means that in the law, she's your mother. But know that no matter how much you want that woman to be your mother, literally she's not your mother. And sometimes, because we are married into the family, we want to do things that will make them like us. And so many wives have been victims to this. We start doing things that will let them will let us get favor before them, but before we realize, we are not able to continue what we started. And then they also continue to expect more from us, and then we become the bad person. So do not start what you cannot finish. Give them the maximum respect. Check the conversations you have with them. In my language, there is something we say that asew enemy a ferry. The conversations you have with your sister-in-laws, your uncles-in-laws, your aunties, whatever in-laws that are in your life, just know that you have to give them the maximum respect. Under no circumstance should you disrespect them. I was having a chat with a lady just before I filmed this video, and then she said that she's having some confrontation with the in-laws, and that she used to greet the in-laws, but then whenever she greets them they don't respond, and so she has stopped greeting them. And then I think the husband went to the mother and asked asked her why that conflict is going on between them and then the wife. And then when the husband came back, the husband said, "You don't worry, when you meet my mother, greet her." And then she said, "If you do not explain to me why your mother doesn't respond to my greetings, there is no way I'm going to greet her." And I was telling her that, my dear, in situations like this, I always advise that you try as much as possible to be positive. I mean, mawasem enyede, so that when they meet and then they are discussing it, the other party will not really have anything to say. Because this case, you have given the woman something to say, she can say, "Oshame kra on shame." And then you also say, I used to greet her, but she's not responded. You see, that's little conflict between them. So as much as possible, whatever it is, try to give your in-laws the maximum respect you can give. The second advice a follower commented is that secure a job before getting married. God, this is something that I have been telling you on different occasions. My dear, make sure you don't go into the marriage jobless. Make sure you don't go into the marriage without your own job, without your own businesses, without your own money. Aside the fact that it is going to give you a source of income, it is also going to at least occupy you. See, when you are jobless, there's a saying that the devil finds work for an empty hand. The little thing you are concerned, the little thing you are overthinking, the little thing you have stressed, you are depressed, you want to go to your husband's phone, you are asking who is he's talking to, what he is. But my dear, if you are busy checking how you can give people's orders, checking how you can meet up deadlines, checking how, after performing your duties as a wife, there are other things that occupy you, and you also have a life outside the marriage. When your whole life is centered around the marriage, that is when it becomes very difficult for you as a wife and as a person. So please secure a job before getting married. The next advice is never ever date or marry a narcissist. They will never change. They will drain you. I think that we have to do a video on narcissists, but these are people who always gaslight you. These are people who doesn't find fault with anything they do. These are people, in fact, dating a narcissist is very difficult and very frustrating. And you don't want to end up in marriage with a person like that, being it a male or a female, being it a wife or husband. That is not something you cannot. You cannot. So another follower said, have a life outside marriage. In fact, this advice is in three folds. She said, have a life outside marriage. And life outside marriage, I mean, you have to have a work, you have to have your social life, you have to have your friends. In fact, your whole life should not be centered on the marriage. She also said, don't rely on your partner entirely for your happiness. I really love this. And I think I've said it times without number. When you put all your happiness into the hands of a man or a woman, my dear, that man, that woman is a human being. And so when they do something later, you become so frustrated because you didn't expect the person to do that. You know. And then the third one is, she said, most importantly, be prayerful. That is why I've told you to be a Jesus girl. Because without Jesus, my dear, in fact, there are things that will go on in the marriage that the only thing that you can do is to pray. And so you need to be prayerful inside out before you started dating him, during the wedding, after. Normally, when we are about to get married, hey, that is when we kabe and kabo and we speak all the songs in the night. When after marriage, now I say you're happy, I say we are feeling reluctant to pray and all those things. My dear, you really need to pray. Then someone said that check your genotype with your partner before marriage. I would say that if possible, know your genotype. During the talking stage, you don't wait till you are about to get married before you check your genotype. If you know that you are AA, then you know that, oh, with AA, you can marry any genotype. But if you know you are AS, immediately during the talking stage, you ask the person, what is your genotype? Because I'm not sure that you would want to invest in a relationship with your time, your energy, your effort, everything. Then when you start premarital counseling, that is where we ask you to go and do genotype. And then we realize that your genotypes are not matching, and that when you get married, the probability that you are going to give birth to children with sickling cell is very high, and then you are bombarded with the decision as to go on with the marriage or to come out, and then with all those things, that is not something you want for yourself. So with this genotype thing, if you're watching this video and you don't know your genotype, please go and check it and make sure that you ask right from the start of the talking stage the genotype of your partner. The next thing is that please marry the man that loves you and not the man that you love. Actually, I do not believe in this comment, because marriage is not 50-50. Marriage is 100-100. I bring my all, you bring your all. So it is not enough when the man loves you. You also have to love the person, because when someone loves you and you don't love the person, whatever the person does, you don't appreciate. There is a saying, say akoko satra koma enyenefe. The person will do everything that he's supposed to do and you will still not appreciate. So it is best and it is better that you love the person and the person loves you back. Marriage is something that is mutual. Please, the next advice is that a man who loves his mom and listens to her too much. I don't know whether this is okay. So the question on the video was something, things that you regret. And so I think that she regrets marrying a man who loves his mom and listens to her too much. Well, I stand to disagree with this one to be called in a way, because it can go both ways. If you end up with a man who loves his mom, in fact, it is a positive thing, because if he loves his mom, he will love you. If he loves his sisters, he will love you. He understands the feminine energy, and he understands how to relate to you. But when he doesn't respect his mom, if he doesn't respect his sisters, that is a red flag. But she said that if he listens to her too much, in that way, I'll take it that then he's kind of being a mama's boy. That might be a concern that you have to look at. Not when whatever that he wants to do, he would go to the mother and ask the mother, mommy, I want to do this. Someone told me that the husband relates to the mother in such a way that she's scared that sometimes when he wants to be intimate with her, he would have to go and ask his mother before. I am not sure it has gotten to that extent. But then, whatever it is, marry someone who loves his mom, but too much of everything is bad. Don't end up with a mama's boy. You are going to regret it. Okay, so let's continue. The next comment is that never accept to live with your in-laws no matter the situation. So you see that story I was saying that a lady told me right before I filmed this video. Actually, she's living with the in-laws. The Bible, God in his own wisdom knows why he said that a man will leave his father and mother and be joined to his wife, and they will become one. And they were naked and they weren't shy. Let me my dear, living with in-laws come with a different vibe, different drama altogether. As much as possible. Even if he has a room in his father's house and he doesn't have money to rent, if he can rent out that room and use the money to rent outside his in-laws' place, that is the perfect thing to do. That is the perfect thing to do. Please, as much as possible, this is a no-no. Do not live with your in-laws, okay? And then she said that the next comment is that keep your past to yourself. If not, they will use it against you in future. It depends. It depends. I always say that the things that does not really have direct impact on your marriage, keep it to yourself. For example, your body count. Why would you want to tell your husband your body count, the number of people you've slept with? For example, how your ex used to sleep with you. Why would you want to tell your husband that? But if, for instance, you had an abortion and then it resulted in you not being able to give birth, you have to tell him, because that is going to have a direct impact on the marriage. And so if you keep it for him, you are not being straightforward. You are not being truthful in the marriage. So know what to say and what not to say, okay? Use wisdom when it comes to some of these things. Just be very careful and know what to say. The next point is that never accept an arranged marriage by a pastor telling you that is your husband, says the Lord. Okay, so God is our Father. God speaks to all of us, every one of us at any particular time. You can just go to your father and ask him, Daddy, this is what is happening. What should I do? Another point is that when a pastor, whoever tells you that, oh, I've seen that this one is your husband, I've seen that this woman is your wife, why don't you take time to know the person before you can make a decision for yourself? God will not give you someone you don't like. God will not force anyone on you. The first time God gave Adam a wife, when there was a problem, Adam shifted the blame to God and told God that it is the woman you gave me that made me do this. And I'm not sure Daddy wants to go through that thing again. So when someone tells you, oh, I think this person is good for you, I think this person will be right for you. God said that this person is your husband. Tell him, thank you so much. Thank you for being my yes. In fact, thank you, Daddy. But I would want to see confirmation from God myself. Get to know the person. If there are things you are not okay with it, my dear, don't just say because God, my pastor said, God said. So no, I wouldn't advise you do that. The next advice my followers gave was that marry a woman who fears the Lord. Sorry, marry a man who fears the Lord. It will be sweet, no regrets here. Aye. Marry a Jesus man, oh Charlie. Marry a Jesus. Because you see that love your wife as Christ loved the church. If you don't fear God, you can't. And by a man who fears God, we don't mean a man who goes to church. A man who fears God. He goes to church. He's a matured Christian. He has a personal relationship with God. And he sebi or the next point is that don't ignore red flags in a relationship. As for red flags today, I've spoken a lot about it and I know you know. So I won't say much about this, but if you haven't watched the video I did about signs that your boyfriend will frustrate you in marriage, please watch that video because I speak about this thing. Someone also said that don't marry a prayer point, marry a prayer partner. Hi! I just love, sorry, I just love my followers. Like, I love you guys. I really love the kind of advice you gave in the comment section of that video. My dear, you don't want to end up with a prayer point because you know that this person, hi, when I marry him or I marry her, there is no way this person is going to pray with me. This lady said that her husband told her never to pray in their house and that she can decide to pray anywhere except the house, in the church, in the park, outside, go for a walk and pray, but in the house. And that even if the husband is not there, when she prays, this man is able to sense that she's praying, and he will call her on her phone. And she feels like the husband has even installed cameras in the house to monitor her. This is not something you want for yourself. So please. And then someone said, I should have asked more questions. What she means is that before she got into the marriage, she should have asked more questions. And this is of very important. This is something you should note. Ask questions, communicate. Don't assume and pretend as if everything is fine when everything is not fine. So these are advices from my followers, and I really love them. I really hope that you love these advices. Please pay attention to every one of them because they are very informative and they will help you. If you love this video, please give me a thumbs up and share this video to your family and friends to also learn from this. Thank you so much for watching this video to the end. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't done that, and I'll definitely see you in the next video.